Welcome back. Back with this Fox News alert. Locked and loaded. UN Ambassador Nikki Haley sending a warning to Bashar al-Assad that the United States is ready to strike again if the rogue regime launches another chemical weapons attack.
If Assad doesn't get it, it's going to hurt. It is now up to Bashar al-Assad on whether he's going to use chemical weapons again. And should he use it again, the president has made it very clear that the United States is locked and loaded and ready to go. If we leave, when we leave, it will be because we know that everything is moving forward.
So will Assad and his allies in Russia and Iran get the message? Our Foreign Affairs panel is here to weigh in. Former Deputy Commanding General of U.S. Forces in Afghanistan, Anthony Tata, and National Security and Foreign Affairs expert Walid Phares. Thank you both for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So I will begin with you, General Tata. What do you think in terms of what we just heard Nikki Haley say there? We also had the UK come into this. We had also France assist us in this. How important was that?
Well, I think it's hugely important, Heather. You know, the diplomatic arm, that's Nikki Haley, the U.S. Ambassador of the United Nations, and she's working the diplomacy for us. She brought in the UK, she brought in France, and so as we jointly attacked Syria to hold on to the red line, as she said, the red line means something to this president. We need to do this because our national security strategy calls for us to have a rules-based international order based on the rule of law and to not allow for the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. So those two things Nikki Haley has said are important to us, and we're going to continue to stay in Syria. And interestingly, we've got now, we're kludging two missions there. We've got our troops on the ground, and she said we're not leaving until the chemical weapons are gone, until Iran is checked, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, and I actually wanted to jump off of that and Walid ask you, because the U.S. position developed very quickly here, because a couple weeks ago we heard that we were pulling troops out.
That's right. A few weeks ago, the president was mentioning the possibility that he will move those troops out very quickly. Then there was a change that he accepted that the troops will stay for a while until we achieve the goals against ISIS and other goals as well. Then suddenly the Assad regime used chemical weapons, prompting us to react. This is a red line. Anytime this regime, other regimes will use it, we will have to act at some point. But my question is, regarding our forces in the northeast of Syria, I have an expectation or projection that the Iranians and Hezbollah and Assad and other militias are now targeting that area, meaning they want to respond to us, but they cannot do it directly. The Russians are not going to clash directly with the United States in that part of the world or any other parts because of the nuclear issue. But in eastern Syria, we need to be a little bit more proactive, making sure that the Iranians won't have the upper hand.
So then, General Tata, back to you. Was it correct for President Trump to tweet out basically mission accomplished here, like he did? You know, we know that the Pentagon says that 105 missiles all hit their respective targets, destroying 3 of Assad's chemical weapons facilities. But then you have Moscow saying that 71 of those 103 missiles were actually shot down by Russian weapons.
Well, you know, Heather, I think what we're seeing here is the information element of power at play. President Trump saying we accomplished what we set out to do, which was to attack 3 chemical weapons manufacturing or storage facilities. And you've got President Putin saying, not so fast, we shot down 71 of those. We are powerful, and this is part of the Russian response that we can expect to see, is that they're going to cozy up tighter with Syria if that's possible. They're going to pull in North Korea, they're going to pull in Iran, and they're going to begin to gel in an information way and in a technical sharing way. If they did indeed shoot down some of these missiles, you know that Iran and North Korea are interested.
Yeah, and so Walid, your response to that in terms of Putin and his response?
Well, first of all, the mission accomplished is really about the tactical, though very large tactical mission. It was accomplished not by having 100%, precision, for our missiles, but by having 100% results on the ground. That's what counts. I mean, look at all previous or comparable operations. You don't have to have every bomb hitting, but you have to have as many of these targets saturated. Now, with regard to President Putin, basically, I agree with the general. Their next move is to get closer. They're going to be embedded further. They're going to probably bring more anti-aircraft missiles and letting us know. But where they will be successful on the ground, so they think, is going to be where we are in smaller numbers, isolated, and that, I will reiterate, eastern Syria is their next goal.
Yeah, and then finally, General Tata, your final words on it, and specifically talk about our troops and how long we will leave them there.
Well, you know, we've got about 2,000 troops on the ground now, and interestingly, we've got about 4,000 troops in Jordan on an exercise that just started, and that's a flexible deterrent option. So in the major region there, we've got upwards of 6,000 or 7,000 troops, and so we are exercising our muscle there, demonstrating strength, and, you know, Nikki Haley said it's conditions-based. Once we've defeated ISIS, completely destroyed them, and once Syria has complied with the chemical weapons, and once Iran gets the message. So that leaves some room for negotiation there as far as how long the troops stay.
All right, General Tata and Walid Phares, thank you both for joining us this morning. Your insight at this hour is greatly appreciated from our viewers and from me. Thank you.